Everybody saying the same thing before I fought with Golovkin. Oh, he's a monster. He's gonna knock out Canelo. He's this and that. At the end of the day, it's not the same. Being in the ring with other fighters like being in the ring with me. It's different. Benavidez is a good fight. It's a good fighter, but I mean, man, I've been in the ring in hard fights with every single good fighter there, so...
In a dramatic twist that has the boxing world abuzz, Canelo Alvarez is finally responding to the announcement of his bout with David Benavidez. He finds himself in a contentious situation as he is being compelled to face Benavidez, following a recent confirmation by Michael Benson about the WBC's decision. The WBC, led by President Mauricio Sulaiman, has firmly set the stage for Benavidez to become Alvarez's mandatory challenger come March. This development adds a new layer of intrigue and tension to the already vibrant boxing scene.
Benavidez defeated Plant in March of this year.
Yeah.
So his date for mandatory position is March 2024.
Wow. All right. So, but Canelo has the option to take that earlier. That's
yeah. They can fight anytime.
Canelo Alvarez, a name synonymous with boxing excellence, has carved out a legacy that is both formidable and distinguished. However, the path ahead seems to be veering towards an unavoidable clash with David Benavidez, a boxer whose prowess and ambition mirror those of a young Alvarez. In his tweet, Michael Benson said, "David Benavidez will be officially set as Canelo Alvarez's WBC mandatory challenger in March," WBC President Mauricio Sulaiman has reaffirmed. Sulaiman has not clarified when the fight will be ordered, but indicated Canelo will be free to face another opponent in May. As you can see, it appears that the moment everyone has been eagerly awaiting might finally arrive, as Canelo gears up to deliver the long-awaited fight that has stirred up immense excitement among enthusiasts. In a declaration last year, Mauricio Sulaiman, the president of the WBC, asserted that should David Benavidez triumph over Demetrius Andrade, he would secure the position as Alvarez's mandatory challenger. With a recent announcement from the WBC, the pressure mounts for Alvarez to grant Benavidez an opportunity to contend for the coveted undisputed super middleweight title. Fascinatingly, up until very recently, multiple sources indicated that Alvarez's next opponent would likely be Jermall Charlo. However, a recent statement from WBC President Mauricio Sulaiman could potentially alter the trajectory of speculation surrounding Canelo's upcoming challenger. Sulaiman recognized that a bout between Benavidez and Canelo would represent the next logical step.
I saw a headline that said that we know David Benavidez has been campaigning to get an opportunity to fight Canelo Alvarez. I saw a headline that stated that, Canelo Alvarez is going to be mandated, should he be victorious this Saturday. Obviously, that's putting the carriage before the horse. But if he's victorious this Saturday, does the winner of this fight inherit David Benavidez as a mandatory challenger?
Benavidez is the mandatory for the WBC, and the date for mandatory is March. So the winner of the fight, if it's Charlo, he will decide if he remains in super middle, goes back to super welter. But I just concentrate on this.
Moreover, Sulaiman confirmed the possibility of Benavidez as mandatory getting a chance against Canelo Alvarez, stating, "Yes, it's very possible. Benavidez confirms his status as mandatory in March." He further revealed ongoing negotiations between the camps, saying, "If Canelo has a fight for May, they're in the same company, already talking, and they've been negotiating. We're leaving them to negotiate. We will see what happens for May, and then the WBC can intervene." In the meantime, Alvarez has confirmed that he is scheduled to face an American opponent on May 4th, aligning with the Cinco de Mayo weekend. Although Jermall Charlo, motivated by his brother's defeat, was initially seen as a leading candidate, it's worth noting that David Benavidez, also an American, remains a contender. The outcome remains uncertain as to whether Alvarez will face Benavidez or if the WBC will intervene to compel him to grant Benavidez an opportunity. In the interim, Alvarez has already dismissed any possibility of facing Terence Crawford next.
Terence Crawford's name keeps coming up, and I know he's a lot smaller than you. Is that a fight that you would ever consider under any circumstance?
I always say if the fight make sense, why not? But he's not in the plan.
He's not in the plan. Okay. Is there a specific reason for it? Is it because of his size, or it won't do anything for you in terms of pushing you toward your goals?
Like I say, if it makes sense, maybe. I don't know right now. I just gonna enjoy this fight, and please let me enjoy this fight, and then you're gonna know what is next.
Imagine the spectacle if Alvarez and Terence Crawford were to engage in a pound-for-pound showdown. Yet Alvarez has dampened any excitement surrounding this prospect, showing little interest. Despite Crawford's impressive victory over Errol Spence Jr. last year, he remains unable to secure the fight he craves. It's worth considering the significant size gap between the two, with Canelo outweighing Crawford by 20 pounds. Although Canelo had previously suggested the possibility of facing an American opponent for his May 4th bout in Las Vegas, he has now firmly eliminated Crawford from consideration. When questioned directly by Box Azteca, Canelo responded with a simple no. Financial incentives don't appear to be a driving factor for Canelo either. While he recognizes the potential for a lucrative matchup, he deems the criticism he would face for fighting Crawford as not worth the trouble. Canelo said, "They're going to criticize me anyway. I have nothing to gain and everything to lose. If I beat him, everyone will say he was too small." Nevertheless, the fighter from Guadalajara will be stepping into the ring on Cinco de Mayo weekend. This indicates that his next fight is scheduled for May 4th, 2024. The fight will take place in Las Vegas, with potential venues being the T-Mobile Arena and MGM Arena. Meanwhile, after his victory against Charlo, Canelo was asked about his next opponent and replied bluntly, "I don't fucking care." On the other hand, Benavidez has openly challenged Canelo to a showdown for the undisputed status at 168 pounds. Benavidez said, "Canelo has no one else to fight. If he wants to give me the fight today, tomorrow, or whenever he wants, I'll be here. My work is not yet complete. If Canelo doesn't want to, I beat everyone else. I'll keep fighting. It's a deep division." However, it seems that the Mexican has opted for a different opponent. If that arrangement fails to materialize, Benavidez will be ready and waiting, thanks to his connections with Al Haymon's PBC, with whom Canelo has a 3-fight deal.
Listen, there are very few things that piss me off, contrary to what you would normally believe. I don't get pissed off at much, because most things don't matter that much, but I love the sport of boxing. I'm like, what about David Benavidez, the natural super middleweight, who's 28-0 with 24 knockouts, who's been begging for Canelo to get into the ring with him? It really...
Alternatively, the sport's most prominent global superstar might be eager to face Bud, the individual who succeeded him as the pound-for-pound #1. After Alvarez dismantled Charlo, Crawford announced on social media, "Canelo versus Crawford is the biggest fight in boxing." However, Canelo cooled the talk by saying, "Right now, the fight with Terence Crawford, it doesn't make sense. I just won. Let me enjoy this. It's a bout that would captivate audiences, but we might have to exercise patience to witness its fruition." However, Crawford is American and has ties to PBC, so it's plausible that a clandestine agreement between these two legends has been arranged. Meanwhile, Leonard Ellerby shares his insights on potential future opponents for Canelo Alvarez, suggesting that a bout against David Benavidez would likely generate greater pay-per-view success compared to a potential matchup with Terence Crawford.
Benavidez-Canelo, man. You think Benavidez could beat Canelo? And any thoughts, a week removed from that Benavidez Plant fight?
That's a tough fight. It's a tough fight because people just look at this matchup, but it's styles that makes the fights. And Canelo does a lot of things really well inside the ring. And he'll get up for a fight like that. He'll really, really get up. But Benavidez is the real deal. I mean, I love him as a fighter. Love him as a fighter.
Fun to watch.
Yeah, fun to watch. Very, very, very entertaining. I mean, I don't know where Canelo is at now after didn't he come off of an injury?
Yes.
I don't know where he's at with that. You got to kind of see that. Benavidez young and in his prime. So it would be a great fight.
It'd be a good bump, like you said.
Yeah, I would love to see it. Love to see it.
Ellerby emphasizes the paramount importance of PPV success in determining the viability of high-profile fights. His analysis is grounded in a deep understanding of the boxing industry, pointing out that while a fight against Crawford may have its merits based on athletic competition, from a business standpoint, it pales in comparison to the potential revenue that could be generated from a Benavidez versus Alvarez fight. Ellerby said, "No, I know the numbers, I know the business. No, it's not bigger. It has nothing to do with whether or not somebody deserves the fight or whether they should fight. We're just talking about the business. The Benavidez versus Canelo fight and Crawford versus Canelo, it's no comparison." Highlighting the discrepancy between the appeal of fights to boxing aficionados and their commercial success, Ellerby uses the example of the highly anticipated yet commercially overshadowed bout between Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. Despite its significance in the boxing community, it did not achieve the PPV numbers of other major fights, such as the one involving Gervonta Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia. He went on to add, "Terence Crawford is the best fighter in the sport. I mean, he's proven that, but it has nothing to do with the business, and you have to know what that means." For example, Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, two tremendous fighters. Everybody knows Errol's my guy. But the biggest fight in boxing all along was Tank and Ryan. The Spence versus Crawford was the most talked about fight fight in the last 6 or 7 years. 2 young, undefeated guys in their prime. Ellerby's insights reveal the intricate balance between the sport's integrity and its commercial aspirations. He underscores the necessity of making judicious decisions that not only respect the sport's competitive nature, but also ensure financial viability.
Love him as a fighter.
Fun to watch.
Yeah, fun to watch. Very, very, very entertaining. I mean, I don't know where Canelo is at now after didn't he come off of an injury?
Yes.
I don't know where he's at with that. You got to kind of see that. Benavidez young and in his prime. So it would be a great fight.
It'd be a good bump, like you said.
Yeah, I would love to see it.
With a focus on long-term planning and strategic fight selection, Ellerby's commentary sheds light on the complex considerations behind organizing blockbuster boxing events. According to Ellerby, but the business said something else. That fight did half of what Tank's fight did, and their fight did very well. But, again, you just gotta understand how this works, and when you have the kind of experience that we've had, understanding what these marketplaces look like, and piracy, and all the factors that are involved with the success of a PPV event, it just comes down to knowing what you're doing and what you're not doing. Furthermore, Ellerby's anticipation for an upcoming card on Amazon Prime highlights his forward-looking approach to promoting boxing. His commitment to selecting fights that promise both competitive intrigue and substantial viewer engagement reflects a nuanced strategy aimed at maximizing the sport's appeal and financial success. Ellerby said, "See, we're not in a situation over here where we're burning money. You have one promoter in particular who don't give a fuck. It's like it don't matter. But we try to make smart, conscientious decisions. Sometimes you make fights people don't agree with, but again, there's always a plan, a method to the madness, and there's a long-term plan." Through his experienced lens, Ellerby articulates the subtle dynamics at play in the boxing business, emphasizing the need for strategic decision-making in the pursuit of the sport's growth and prosperity. Ellerby added, "I'm excited for this card to kick off for Amazon Prime. This will be a tremendous card full of great fights. No, this is not the all-star team per se, but these are some very good fights, and we think there's going to be a tremendous response to the support. I haven't really thought about that, but if you ask me about the business of which fight is bigger, the Benavidez fight is bigger. It's a much bigger fight." Meanwhile, Juan Manuel Marquez, the iconic former Mexican boxer, has expressed his desire for Canelo to take on David Benavidez in the ring, urging for the fight to happen at the earliest opportunity.
I want to see that fight, Benavidez-Canelo, and many people want to see the fight. I don't know what's going to happen in the future.
Hey, and how does it feel to be in the Hall of Fame, man? How does it feel to be?
I feel great. I feel great. After the many years of career,
yes,
this is the last step to get the International Boxing Hall of Fame. I feel great. I feel very happy.
Let me ask both. Do y'all feel like? Let me ask both of y'all. Do y'all feel like Canelo? Do y'all dislike that statement about not fighting Mexican fighters?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like because there's a lot of great Mexican fighters, you know, that Canelo can make the fight happen. You know, I feel like it feels such for the Mexican people, bro. Why not all break bread each other? Why not let's make a big fight happen? We all get paid, and you know, we put on for Mexico.
Many Mexican people want to see the fight Canelo Benavidez. I don't know. The people want to see the people that, I don't know, the promoters needs to make the fight Benavidez.
In another interview, Marquez said, "He has more than a year as an official challenger, and I think the most feasible thing is that the World Boxing Council will have to disown Canelo as champion if he doesn't accept the fight immediately because he is their official challenger. It could be in May or September, but I think the most important thing is that he is the official challenger and has to face the Mexican fighter. If that bout fails to materialize, Marquez advocates for the WBC to disassociate from Canelo due to his refusal to accept the challenge. Benavidez is raising his hand and is hitting on the desk saying, "I deserve the opportunity." Now, what does the body have to do if Canelo Alvarez doesn't want to fight Benavidez? They have to strip him of the title. They have to disown him, he added. On the other hand, Canelo previously acknowledged in an interview with Hugo Sanchez that he intends to continue his boxing career for at least another 4 years. Canelo said, "From 29 years old is where I have felt the best. I've always said that 37 is a good age to enjoy what I've done with my family or other things in my career, and that's what I think. But I said I would debut at 18, and I did it at 15. However, before contemplating retirement, Canelo cautioned that his priority is to orchestrate a bout at Mexico's premier sports venue, the Azteca Stadium in Mexico City. Yes, I am interested in fighting at the Azteca Stadium. I would love to have a fight before retiring at the Azteca," said Canelo. It should be noted that after beating Jermel Charlo, Canelo Alvarez said, "I will fight again on May 5th, 2024 against anyone. I don't care. Throw me, anyone. No one can beat me." In another interesting aspect, we know that among the many opponents Alvarez has faced, the encounter with Shane Mosley stands out as one of the most challenging. Despite Alvarez emerging victorious, Mosley bore witness to the burgeoning talent of the young boxer. Over a decade has elapsed since that bout, and Mosley now believes David Benavidez possesses the potential to dazzle against Alvarez.
Canelo Benavidez, if they fight, what do you think?
I think it's a really, really good fight. Like I said, I'm a Benavidez fan, so I think Benavidez could have the edge because he's bigger and taller, but Canelo's a great fighter, so I don't know.
It's good for boxing. It'll be a big one.
It's great for boxing.
In a recent interview with Fight Hype, Mosley elaborated on Benavidez's attributes that make him a formidable opponent for Canelo. He also discussed Benavidez's recent triumph over Demetrius Andrade. He praised Benavidez's relentless fighting spirit and his mental toughness, characteristics that he believes set Benavidez apart as an exceptional fighter. Here's what Mosley said: Benavidez is a beast, not just when he's fighting, but all the time. He has that mentality, and I love watching fighters like that. It was kind of hard for Boo Boo Andrade to do because it's not his style. He is not as big as David, but he still fought and gave his all. Canelo is going to be a good fight too because he isn't going to be able to sit back and just counterpunch. He's going to have to fight the whole time. Mosley's insights suggest that a fight between Canelo and Benavidez would not only be competitive, but could also push Alvarez to adapt his strategy against an opponent who brings a distinct set of advantages to the ring. Mosley further added, "It's going to be a great fight. I'm not saying he's going to walk through him like he did Boo Boo, but I'm saying it's going to be a great fight. I know Canelo can crack and he has good counterpunches. I've been in the ring with him." To finish off his thoughts, Mosley also talked about Benavidez's greatest advantage against Alvarez. He said, "Canelo is very fast. He has good power and good ring IQ. I still think Benavidez might be a little too big for him. He's too tall. His arms are too long. That might be a problem. It seemed like it was a problem when Canelo fought Bivol." This conversation sheds light on the tactical considerations and physical dynamics at play in high-level boxing matchups, underscoring the intrigue surrounding a potential clash between Canelo and Benavidez. With Mosley's analysis, the boxing community is given a glimpse into the challenges and opportunities that such a fight would present, adding to the anticipation of what could be a memorable encounter in the sport. However, let's see how Canelo thinks about a potential fight with Benavidez.
Would you consider Benavidez?
We'll see. We'll see. We 100% focus on this fight, but everything is possible right now.
So is the plan to go back-to-back with the brothers? You said no up there, so that's not the plan?
It's not my plan. Right now, I'm focused 100% in Jermel, but you never know. Could happen.
On the other hand, immediately following the introductory press conference for his March 30th bout, Zhu wasted no time addressing a query regarding his perspective on a potential showdown between Canelo Alvarez and David Benavidez. Claims to be a big fan of Benavidez, calling him an absolute monster, absolute animal. At this moment, his inclination leans towards favoring Benavidez over Canelo. During their exchange, Zhu boldly declared, "I look and aspire to the throwback fighters. You know, I feel like fighters these days, in this modern era, they're just a bunch of pussies. That's just my opinion. The old throwback when I grew up watching boxing in the 2000s, everyone just fought the best, and that's what I am." However, according to promoter Samson Lukowicz, the anticipated fight between Canelo and Benavidez will not come to fruition. No, Lukowicz replied when questioned by ProBox TV about the possibility of an Alvarez versus Benavidez bout happening in 2024. He added, "Canelo Alvarez will make his legacy, and his legacy will be stained, because he did not fight the best at this time, which is Benavidez. I think the children, maybe the grandchildren one day, will ask him why he did not fight Benavidez, because Canelo says he wants the best fights, but that's the best fight. Now he says he's going to fight an American in Las Vegas on May 4th. At one moment in the contract, it was Jermall Charlo. Now we don't know who the American might be." Similarly, Abel Sanchez, a previous trainer, asserts that David Benavidez hasn't defeated any notable opponents to warrant a chance at challenging Canelo Alvarez, the undisputed super middleweight champion.
David is steadily improved, and I think as a coach, that's what you look for in a fighter. You look in a young fighter, it doesn't matter the age, just fight by fight, he seems to be getting better and better.
Sanchez remains unimpressed by David Benavidez's undefeated record, citing that recent victories over an inactive 35-year-old middleweight Demetrius Andrade in November and a 12-round decision win over former Canelo knockout victim Caleb Plant failed to impress. Sanchez said, "Canelo, will he get more money to fight Benavidez? Will he get more money to fight Crawford or Charlo? It's going to be the same. I think David is the closest to merit that fight with Canelo, but one fight isn't going to do it." According to Abel Sanchez, Benavidez's recent triumphs over a 35-year-old inactive middleweight, Demetrius Andrade, in November, as well as his 12-round decision victory against Caleb Plant, a former victim of Canelo's knockout, failed to impress. Abel emphasizes that Benavidez must overcome Jermall Charlo to secure a matchup against Canelo. Interestingly, Sanchez overlooks David Morrell Jr., a seemingly invincible super middleweight fighter, in his assessment. According to Sanchez, Sanchez, look at the resume of Crawford. He's never fought anybody at that level. I would have liked to have seen Crawford fight Charlo, the bigger Charlo. Take him away from Canelo. If he beats Charlo, now we're talking. Do you know who has the right to call the shots? Canelo, because he's already done it. Look at what he's done compared to the other guys. Andrade hadn't fought in how long and is a 160-pounder. I thought David fought well in his last fight, but he's got to earn the right to fight Canelo. Quit talking so much and go out and fight somebody. Why hasn't he fought Charlo? He has to stand in line for the guy that is running the show. Canelo is the only one that has a right to call his own shots. Why? Because nobody has ever done what he's done to this point. David hasn't. David had one good win where we can say, wow, what did he do to Plant? He designed Plant. Sanchez thinks that if Benavidez aims to vie for a chance against Canelo, he ought to confront Morrell instead of the 33-year-old middleweight competitor, Jermall Charlo. It's foreseeable that even if Benavidez were to defeat Jermall, he wouldn't garner recognition due to Jermall's inactivity, his weight class mismatch at 168, and evident personal issues that have adversely impacted his once promising career. So that's all from today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos.